Welcome back to another episode of the RecTable. Thank you for joining us. I have myself, you know who I am.
Dr. Ellyn, and I'm Foxxcee.
And you know the RecTable is the place where we provide our guests with a safe space for them to be able to tell their story their way. So with that being said, we have a guest.
Before we get started, we want to make sure that you turn on your post notifications, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, a mama, cousin, sister, brother. Let them all, anybody.
Watch it twice.
Right. Let them know about the RecTable, and then also Destiny Cloud Sessions. If you need any podcast, aerial footage, photography, they are your go-to. He is your go-to.
The whole gamut. He's got you.
All right. So let's introduce
I would like to introduce our guest. We have Sylvia at the RecTable today.
I'm here, y'all. What's up?
And we've invited her to tell her story today in honor of breast cancer and cancer awareness. She has a wonderful story to share with us, and we want her to tell it her way.
Well, thank you for having me, ladies. It is a privilege and a pleasure to be here to share with you all, to share with your audience. Thank you for inviting me to your platform, and so let's get into it.
Let's
start with tell us a little bit about yourself, Sylvia.
My name is Sylvia May. I am 49 years old, and I am a mother of 5. And I'm a wife. I am a funeral director, funeral counselor, all things funeral services.
Okay.
And what else? I'm a lover of people. And
I love you back.
Thank you. I'm a big personality. Y'all know me since
That's right.
And so, what else about me? I love God. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was going to say, you're also a survivor.
And that's what
Yes.
I was getting to. I am a survivor.
Capital letters.
Yes, I am a survivor of breast cancer. I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, which they call it IDC, which plagues about 80% of women.
Okay.
Wow.
80% of women will be diagnosed with the same exact thing. The survival rate is like 60%.
Wow.
You can survive it. It's a hunter, and most people don't know this. It specifically hunts for breast tissue. Generally, if you don't have the mastectomy, it's going to find the breast tissue. It is a hunter kind of cancer. It hunts specifically for breast tissue. So, yeah.
Well, first, we want to just say God is good.
Absolutely.
And I'm so glad that you're still here
Absolutely.
to tell your story. So obviously,
It was very close. I had a very close call with death.
Okay.
Very, very close call. 2013, 14.
Okay.
Had a very, very close call with death. Got down to about 98 pounds, soaking wet, and things weren't looking well for me. But I believe that faith speaks what it believes.
Absolutely.
And so you can will yourself to live. And,
I agree with that.
And I willed myself to live because I had a son. At this point, I had a son, and he's already lost a father in 2005. And so I couldn't see that for him.
Right.
And so because I couldn't see it for him, that's where my fight and my drive came from. And it was, you got to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way. 26 rounds of chemotherapy, radiation, a lumpectomy.
Okay.
Lumpectomy, surgeries, hysterectomy, blood transfusions, the likes. You cannot imagine what this body has been through.
And that little body is still here.
This little body's still here pushing.
Strong.
Right? Listen, like the little train that could.
Okay. Wow. We have a few questions for you. Some things that we were wondering about because, again, we're new to this, but
Absolutely.
we also feel like education is key.
Absolutely.
For anybody who is going through this, and we deal with a lot of people who suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
And don't have anybody to talk to. So we totally appreciate you coming on here, being open enough to just raw, uncut, talk about what you may be experiencing. One thing is, if we touch on something that you're not comfortable with, please just say the word trigger, and we'll pull back from that, because this needs to be a healthy process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So, symptoms wise, was there anything that, what made you check and see, to know something was actually going on?
So I'm a girl. I'm a boy mom. And Guy and I, as a matter of fact, Thomas, my husband, Guy and myself, we were actually, Thomas and Guy were roughhousing and just being rough in the living room. And so I wanted to join in because it looked like a lot of fun.
Okay. Guy is your son?
Guy is my son.
Okay.
And I'm aggressive. So I wanted to partake. And in that roughhousing process, Guy's elbow hit me in the breast.
Okay.
So I was like, ooh,
Like that.
I don't want to play with y'all no more.
Like, this ain't fun.
As fun as it looked with you all down here on the ground, it's not fun for me anymore.
Right.
So it literally, he was like this, the gesture, and his elbow went into the corner of my breast right here. And so I just thought, 3 or 4 days later, it was still a little tender. And so I thought, oh, he got me good.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to get you
Payback
back.
Payback is coming. And so took a shower, and I noticed some droplets in the shower. Now blood is coming from my nipple. But before I seen the blood, it was like I went like this and I could feel like discharge.
Okay.
And I was thinking, okay, Guy, I ain't breastfed in a long time. There should be absolutely nothing
And I'm not
coming.
pregnant,
Right.
so.
There's nothing coming from these boobs, and so it was a little like snot, like clear snot, right? So I was like, all right, cool, no big deal, right? That was day 1, right? Day 2, there was blood droppings, and when I went to wipe with the towel, I noticed the pink, because obviously blood turns pink when it hits the water. So it turned pink, but on my towel it was a little red, and so I called Thomas into the bathroom, and I was like, this is what it looked like, and he was like, get out of the shower, we need to go to the doctor. So I was like, why is blood coming from
Right.
Yeah.
the nipple? So I go to Montclair Hospital, because at this time we're living in Ontario. I go to Montclair Hospital, and we're in the ER, and ER director comes and says, we need to admit you.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And that was from after doing some tests or just looking?
This is being in
On
hospital. This is being in hospital for a couple of hours. Ran a couple of tests, did some X-rays, and came back and said, we need to admit you. Brought the X-ray and said, you see these little dots right here? They're a little suspicious for us, right? So I'm admitted, and I'm just kind of like, wait, what's happening?
Right.
Because it's happening
Fast
in real
at this
time.
point.
So
Right.
now it's like X-ray, these dots, we need to admit you. So I'm in 6 o'clock in the morning. Dr. Anthony O comes in, and we're taking you down for biopsy. And I was like, well, wait.
Okay.
Like, slow
Can we
down.
talk about
Wait,
this?
wait,
What's
wait,
happening?
Wait. And so he said, we see something. He said, and so, we need to check it out. So we're going down for biopsy. And I'm like, when you hear the word biopsy, that means there's something.
Right.
Right.
Now, you guys ain't telling me what the something is, but I know that biopsy means that there's something that we need to
Serious, because
Right.
you're like right now, so
need to look at.
serious.
So I get admitted maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon at 6 a.m. I'm being prepped for biopsy. I was in PO that night. And so I'm like, well, what's happening? So now fear. has come in.
Right.
And I'm like,
Only
what's
imagine.
happening? Because I don't have answers. And so I'm scared. And I'm hearing biopsy, and I'm hearing we're going to put you to sleep. You're going to go into the OR, and they're going to just take a little bit of this, and then we're going to bring you back to your room. Go into the OR. They say, where is your dream vacation? And I'm like, I don't have a dream vacation. We're going to put something in your vein that's going to take you to your dream vacation. Propofol. I said,
wow.
okay, no problem. We're doing it. We're doing it. So do the biopsy. I'm in the hospital for 7 days. I'm in the hospital now at this point for 7 days. Biopsy, they send it out to the pathologist. They keep me here. So all of this is happening. I don't have answers yet because we're waiting for the pathologist to come back.
Right.
We're waiting for the pathology to come back. Pathology comes back, stage 2, breast cancer, invasive ductal carcinoma, all because I decided that I wanted to roughhouse with my son.
Oh, Jesus.
But that's a good thing, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't know.
Look at that's
God, yes.
That was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I wouldn't have known. This thing is
Right.
already growing in my body.
Right.
Unaware, and you guys both know I'm already skin and bones. I've always been little. So there was no signs of like weight loss. There was no signs of like this. I wasn't in pain. I was in pain for the days that, and I just,
after he hit
after
it.
the
though.
impact, I just deduced it to that was a hard blow, right? And never ever thought anything past the blow. Never could have paid me to believe that this was a rupture of the course of your life.
Did you never even felt like a lump? I know they always
I
say that.
never did breast checks.
It's important.
I never did breast checks because I didn't have a need to do that, because nobody close enough to me suffered with breast cancer. But interestingly, my mother died of breast cancer
oh wow.
in 2008. So,
But a lot of us always think it's not going to happen to us.
Right. We all
yeah,
we live in
I
that
mean,
space.
I'm sitting here thinking like, when's the last
I'm
time
like, no, look, I'm
I
sitting
need
here like,
to go.
it's somebody
check
else.
right now.
Yeah, it's somebody else. This belongs to somebody
Exactly.
else. This
It's not my story.
It doesn't
Yeah.
affect me because
Right.
it hasn't been directly connected to me. And anybody that that mattered to me. Nobody at this point had died of breast cancer. Nobody had had to deal with it. And so it was just like, whatever. So I didn't do breast checks. I didn't need to, because I didn't see the importance. And this is the problem. We don't see the importance in it, so we don't do it.
And it's funny because even the action of testing, it just seems like whatever, that's not doing anything, but it really does, because when you feel that node in there, whatever the terminology is, that lump is like, oh my God. But then also the denial piece of it, because if I check and I find it,
then
that means something.
And we as a people, that's us.
Yeah.
We don't prepare for anything because that means that it's imminent.
Exactly.
It's gonna happen right now.
Exactly.
If I get life insurance, I'm gonna die.
Right.
Yeah.
And
One of the stigmas of our culture.
So I don't need it, right? And so just a simple bump developed this, and then it became a whirlwind of doctor's appointments. It became a whirlwind of treatment plans. It became a whirlwind of all these things so fast. And I was like, wait, it's
Slow
all
down.
happening.
Took it in yet, right?
It's all happening so fast. And it was a process for me because I didn't initially get good health care. I went to a place, and we're going to protect the innocent, but I went to a cancer center that did not have love, care, compassion, and concern for their patient. I was a patient. I that's all I was.
Right.
I was a patient, I was a number, and I had insurance.
Right. And then that was it.
And that was it. And so the care that I needed, surely I was going to die under her care. And I was like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. It's not. And I have a best friend by the name of Jackie, and she was going through some life changes and some life circumstances. And the way that the world would have it, she came. And she began to be my caregiver. And she even was like, this ain't the doctor for you, because the way that everything was negative, right?
Wow.
And like I started this, faith speaks what it believes, right? So if you believe you're going to die, surely you're going to feel sick every day until you die. These things are going to happen. These things are going to begin to manifest in the way in which you speak about it, right? And so I was like, yeah. So I went to another appointment, because you get an oncologist, you get a radiation oncologist, you get your primary care physician, you get a nurse, you get a therapist. All of these things come along with a diagnosis. So you don't just get diagnosed with cancer, you get all of these subsequently things that happen with your diagnosis, right? And so, so I was like, I need to get to City of Hope.
Right.
I need to get to City of Hope.
So what did your treatment plan look like?
It looked like we're gonna start with a lumpectomy. So we're gonna take this tumor out right here, and then we're gonna see we're gonna send it off to the pathologist to see. That's how you get your stages, right? And then we're gonna start chemotherapy. I was on 21 days, so I did chemotherapy every 21 days. And so when you start to feel better, it's time to do chemo again.
Jeez.
For 6 months. I did chemotherapy. So imagine 21 days, right? And on the 19th or the 18th day, you're starting to feel good. And then on the 21st day, we do it all over again.
Wow.
For 6 straight months. So every 21 days for 6 months, I did chemotherapy. And I was just like, yeah, let me see something. And so then we go from chemotherapy to radiation. To see, absolutely.
Wow.
And so it went from chemotherapy for 6 months, and you got a break. You did 2 weeks of a break or a week of a break, depending. And that's predicated that your body is accepting the chemo, because if your blood count is low, if your cancer count is high, your cancer count, which are your tumor markers, should always be below 39 or 35, right? Sometimes mine was high because infection was in my body. So they can't give you chemotherapy. So that elongates things, because you're 21 days and now we can't give it to you because you're sick or because you're hospitalized or because of this. And so 6 months now turns into 8 months. And so you are thinking, okay, and then, you need blood transfusions. Oh, your body isn't tolerating food. So now you're vomiting, profusely, and your body isn't accepting food. And so all of these things were a part of the treatment plan. So the treatment plan, 6 months chemotherapy every 21 days, right? I took Taxol, and I did Taxol first. Taxol was...
Is that a medication?
It's a chemotherapy.
Oh, therapy.
It's what they call the red devil, right?
That doesn't sound like
I know. I don't want that one.
I don't want that one.
So
what is that?
You take it through your IV. If you get a port in, it breaks your veins down. It literally kills everything in your body, good and bad. So when it's not targeted, right, and you're not doing targeted chemotherapy where they just focus on this specific area, it goes throughout your complete body and it tears up everything that is in its way, right? So then
the devil.
Yeah.
Literally the devil.
The devil, right? And so then you have external beam radiation, right? literally burns your skin. It takes longer, and so radiation is maybe about 30 minutes, right? But the setup process for radiation takes longer than the actual treatment. It scars your body, and there's some things that I can show you guys. You'll be like, yo, wait, what?
How did you handle this emotionally?
Oh yeah, no.
Like, I would be, I'm a mess right now listening
Right.
to
I'm
it.
like, I just want to grab you like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
come here and tell me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and it definitely, and that's why when you go to City of Hope, they give you a therapist because they know that this. And here's the truth: anybody that's dealing with it, anybody that's battling it, it is less physical and more emotional. So your support system is key.
right.
The people that you have around you are vitally important for your survival, right? Because we are dealing with it physically, right? And so we're dealing with it physically, psychologically, and emotionally, right? We have all of these, and they could be rapid firing at the same time.
Right.
Like physically, my body is racked with pain, right? But my mind is saying, I can't do this anymore. It's
Right.
easier to die
And that was one of the questions I had.
than it is easier to fight. It's
That's
easier
profound.
to surrender than it is to fight, because the fight is difficult. The fight, you wake up and you fight every single day.
Right.
Or every 21 days, you're fighting with something that's being tapped into your veins, right? I can't eat. I can't sleep. So what is that doing to my...
Right.
Mental.
Right.
It's easier to just give up. Everybody in this house is asleep. They'll wake up
Right.
and you're gone. They'll wake up and it's over.
And you don't have to do this another 21 days.
You don't have to do this for another 21 days. And so if you do not have strong people around you that can tell you that although the fight is great, you're greater than what you're going through. And it may not feel like it, and it may not seem like it, and you may not. But the truth of the matter is you have something to live for. In those moments, those aren't comforting words. They weren't comforting for me because I'm experiencing this. I'm losing blood. I'm throwing up blood. Somebody's got to clean up behind me. Somebody's got to come. I can't lift myself because I'm so weak and so tired and so fatigued from chemotherapy whooping my...
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So this does seem like a better way.
Right.
So don't let me fool you for a second. Suicide has been a choice for me.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't have the thoughts. I'm not going to pretend, but I was like, I'm scared. I'm scared to die from cancer, but I'm also scared to kill myself.
Right.
Was that you being scared what gave you the strength to continue, or what was it that gave you the strength?